It's Halloween, but since full-on parties are going to be few and far between thanks to the coronavirus pandemic, we'll have to find other ways to enjoy this spooky holiday. If you're getting sick of watching horror movies and TV shows at home, maybe you'll want to mix it up with some gaming, and one of the more entertaining options might be playing the latest iteration of Call of Duty during the Haunting of Verdansk Halloween gameplay event, because two horror icons are getting in on the action. Starting October 20 and running through November 3, Call of Duty is kicking off an in-game Halloween event adding some new gameplay modes in both Modern Warfare and Warzone game variants, along with a spooky new nighttime setting and Halloween-themed rewards. But the most surprising and ridiculous thing about this whole Call of Duty Halloween event is that Texas Chainsaw Massacre killer Leatherface and the terrifying Saw mascot known as Billy the Puppet will be new player skins, bringing the horror icons and some of their killer style into the multiplayer action. Billy the Puppet and Leatherface in Call of Duty. Do you want to play a game? First up, part of the Haunting of Verdansk event will be a new Saw-themed bundle that includes a Billy the Puppet skin for the operator Morte. Along with the creepy skin, players will also be able to use the phlebotomosier lethal equipment piece, a special throwing knife that drills into enemies upon impact. A steady gig in show business isn't easy to come by, but Kelly Ripa's been living large on live for 2 decades. There's also special weapon blueprints, one for an assault rifle and one for a shotgun, as well as a tricycle charm to hang off your weapon's other personalized items. Ain't he got no pride in his home? Meanwhile, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre bundle will bring a Leatherface skin for the operator Velikan. Along with the skin, players will also receive a family heirloom blueprint for a light machine gun which allows players to wield their weapon like a chainsaw. While it may seem like a dream come true to many, this former soap opera star never imagined she would end up on the set of a talk show. In fact, she never even properly auditioned for her position. "It's been a series of accidents that I wound up with this job," she explained to Variety. Which has been such a blessing. One could say it was truly meant to be. The bundle also comes with the "Anybody Home?" melee blueprint that turns your secondary weapon into a one-handed hammer with a bone breaker on one side and a meat tenderizer on the other. When ABC called Ripa to fill in at the last minute alongside the late Regis Philbin, her relatability was what earned her an unexpected job offer. Usually that kind of easy conversational spark is innate only in a special breed of broadcaster types, Philbin even admitted in his autobiography via The Washington Post. There are also a few other themed items in the bundle that you'll have to check out when you get it. Look, I'm all for some Halloween-themed gaming events giving us something new to do for a couple weeks. All these years later, we can't even imagine what live would be like without her. From daytime soap star to daytime talk show host, this is the transformation of Kelly Ripa. The showbiz bug bit Kelly Ripa at an early age. Kelly Ripa was born to perform. But this is silly as hell. It makes a little more sense that these are player skins instead of being the actual characters themselves, but this is the first pop culture themed bundle that this latest iteration of Call of Duty has seen, and it just feels kind of dumb. Will I still play it? Absolutely. Both of those bundles will be available for purchase within the game, but most of the Haunting of Verdansk stuff will be available for free, and you can get a taste of everything in the event trailer below. As Halloween draws near, a squad of operators drops in for what seems to be a normal infiltration into Verdansk, though there's been back-channel chatter about some unexplained and odd occurrences across the remote areas of the map. Ever since her birth in 1970, she sang, she danced, and she entertained her parents. There was always a love and laughter in the house, and tons of fun, she recalled to SJ Mag. Operators have been briefed about reports concerning a serial killer who wears his victims' faces on his own. There's scattered intel about strange sounds emanating from various locations within the war zone, and not least the piercing, creepy laughter of a ventriloquist doll. It isn't long before hell breaks loose. One by one, the squad is brutally picked off until there is just one survivor, who after a confrontation with Verdansk's own urban legend, vows to return under the cover of night and avenge his brothers in arms. Welcome to Season 6, a latest content drop, featuring the Haunting of Verdansk.
Get all the information about what will be in Call of Duty's The Haunting of Verdansk event right here. Cool posts from around the web. Ripa was enrolled in dance lessons, the high school cheer squad, and local theater productions. It quickly became obvious that she enjoyed anything that had to do with entertainment. While she grew up in a pretty normal New Jersey family, she's the daughter of a bus driver and a stay-at-home mom, Ripa had some pretty extraordinary dreams. She wanted to act in the Big Apple. However, these aspirations stressed her mother out. She worried that I'd either get my heart broken or live under a bridge, Ripa admitted to Elle. It all started with an innocent audition for the middle school play. Ripa told SJ Mag that no sixth grader had ever been cast in a musical, but they took a chance on her. It was then that Ripa realized she really could make it big. At first, it wasn't so easy. After her big move to New York at only 19 years old, she worked at a toy store in Manhattan doing demonstrations for Nerf footballs. Her roommate at the time was doing the same for Mattel toys. However, Ripa's big break came quicker than expected. A passion for dance launched Kelly Ripa's career. Though Kelly Ripa is now known as a talk show host, it was her dancing days that got her a start into stardom. Moving on from a demo girl to dancer in 1986, she joined the television show Dance Party USA. Viewers could catch Ripa movin' and shakin' every night, and she was talented at it, too. A passion for pirouettes was something Ripa picked up when she was just a kid. I was a ballet dancer for 13 years, she revealed to Dance Magazine. And have the feet to prove it. Luckily, she got to use a lot of her other talents on television too. During quite a few episodes, Ripa was able to interview some of the biggest stars of the 80s, including musician Rick Astley and the members of the band The Jets. We always hear about and read the new work of The Jets, Ripa gushed to the group. And I was wondering, what's in the future for you guys? Speaking of the future, who knew hers would involve interviewing famous people, not dancing with them, on daytime television? Kelly Ripa stumbled into soap stardom. The acting bug was still overtaking Kelly Ripa, so after a couple years of dancing and swaying across our screens, she walked around New York City looking for her next gig. One afternoon, she happened to stop by the soap opera All My Children. I went there looking for extra work, just dropping off headshots, she explained to CNN. I was brand new to the business, I didn't really understand a lot about it. It's a good thing she did. As soon as a casting assistant saw her, she asked Ripa to take a screen test. It was 6 months before the aspiring actor heard anything at all. You're so green. You have no experience, is what Ripa was told, but, surprisingly, they opted to give the young actor a second shot. It turns out that 2 times a charm. In 1990, she booked her first big role as party girl Haley Vaughn. For the next 12 years, Ripa dedicated herself to the dramatic role. As she told CNN, I really spent my young years there. However, it was still just the start of her time in the spotlight. Kelly Ripa knew Mark Consuelos was the one right away. 5 years into her new gig, Kelly Ripa's casting director was looking for her new co-star. They searched far and wide for who would play her love interest Mateo, and they found it in actor Mark Consuelos. When Ripa was shown his headshot, she knew he was the one she was going to marry. I saw my entire future with him, Ripa revealed on Lunch with Bruce, adding, I don't believe in any of that, and now I do. Their characters had great chemistry, and these actors had it off-screen, too. The two quickly knew they needed to be together. In 1996, they decided to make it official and eloped in Las Vegas. We were signing our marriage certificate, and the lady at the counter said, Here you go, honey. Here's an audio cassette just in case he tries to deny it in the morning. Ripa laughed as she recapped their special day on her show. The young soap star never thought she'd even get married. Ripa was so focused on becoming an actor that it had never even crossed her mind until she met Consuelos. The soap opera seemed to be setting her up for success in all aspects of her life. It's been a gift that's just kept on giving all these years, she told CNN. All of Kelly Ripa's children. 1 year after she eloped with Mark Consuelos, Kelly Ripa was expecting her first child. She was still starring in the soap opera All My Children, but because her character wasn't pregnant, the crew had to get creative. Ripa carried around plants and was told to suck in her stomach to hide her growing baby bump. Eventually, they buried me alive in a cave up to my eyes, she explained in a reunion video via People.
Because I was so pregnant that the only part of that did not look pregnant was my eyeballs. Her baby boy, Michael, was born in 1997. Sneaking a baby bump around the set didn't seem to faze her. She then became pregnant with her daughter Lola. I think children are like pancakes. You sort of ruin the first one, and you get better at it the second time around, Ripa has famously joked via WebMD. After Lola, she had her third child, Joaquin. Though Ripa stays busy on our screens, she makes time for her role as mother. She's even shared lessons she's learned from her own mom in a book called I Love You, Mom. However, it may not be exactly what you expect. My mom didn't teach me normal stuff, like how to do laundry or cook, Ripa told Good Housekeeping. She thought it would be better for us to have ballet lessons than do chores around the house. Hey, those dance classes sure paid off. An unexpected call changed Kelly Ripa's career trajectory as a soap opera star. Kelly Ripa was the last person anyone would expect to host a talk show. It came from, frankly, such an unexpected source. I mean, a young soap opera actress. The late Regis Philbin wrote in his autobiography via The Washington Post. However, he immediately saw something in Ripa. I wasn't even supposed to be here, Ripa admitted to her audience. Back in 2000, she was in hair and makeup for a day of shooting All My Children when Live called over to the soap set. Philbin was searching for a new co-host to replace Kathy Lee Gifford, and the day's guest host was suddenly no longer able to come in. The morning chat show needed someone to step into the role right away, and so they reached out to All My Children and asked if anyone was camera ready. And I just happened to be the one standing there, Ripa recalled on air with Ryan Seacrest. And just when Ripa thought the day couldn't be more eventful, one of the live guests was a psychic. And that psychic announced Ripa's top-secret pregnancy news on the air. It was an incredible moment, and the young actor's reaction got her a job offer. 2 years later, she left the soap opera to tackle the talk show world full-time. Funnily enough, her All My Children character also left for a talk show. Kelly Ripa still had hope and faith in her acting when Kelly Ripa took a gig on a talk show. Members of her inner circle warned against it. A lot of my friends said, "You're not a talk show host, you're an actor. If you go on talk shows that will be the end of your acting career," Ripa admitted to Redbook. But hey, she trusted her gut, and it clearly worked out for her. After I took the talk show, I was offered the sitcom, Hope and Faith, she added. In 2003, Ripa became busy taking over a talk show during the day and continuing to act on a television series at night. However busy she may have been, moving from a soap opera to a sitcom was important to the dynamic star. I was always the victim on All My Children. I was shot, stabbed, kidnapped, poisoned, gassed, blown up and raped, Ripa told Today. There were very few laughs for me. The comedic series couldn't have been a better fit for Ripa. Her Hope and Faith character was a soap star that disappeared from daytime television. Unfortunately, the sitcom was cancelled 3 years later. However, this development was actually a blessing in disguise for this busy co-host, who reportedly later said that she never wanted to work that hard again, via Wonderwall. There are never too many irons in the fire for Kelly Ripa. After Hope and Faith ended, the world wasn't seeing much of Kelly Ripa's acting. However, even though she wasn't starring any other series, she still needed some extra excitement in her life. "My morning show is literally an hour of work," she told Today. She wanted something else to do and still aspired to share more stories with the world. In 2007, she and her husband Mark Consuelos partnered up to start a production company. Maloho Productions, named after the first 2 letters of each of her kids' names, creates everything from scripted series to reality shows. Interestingly enough, one of the projects she produced was a reality show for E! About soap opera actors called Dirty Soap. While she may know the soap opera world best, her company's first Emmy nomination came after creating a documentary called The Streak for ESPN. Now, Ripa was ready for a new challenge. "I also enjoy writing, but will it lead to anything? I don't know," she later told Elle. "I'm probably not very good, but lack of talent hasn't stopped me before." The Great Live with Kelly co-host search began in 2011. Regis Philbin's last episode of Live aired, and Kelly Ripa found herself alone at the helm of the successful series. When Regis left, it was so scary, Ripa told People. They had starred alongside each other for 11 years, and his retirement news had rocked her world. "It makes you terrified," she added.
Like, can I do this without Regis being here? Suffice to say, Philbin left behind big shoes to fill, and as WQAD8 noted, Ripa didn't rush the process of finding a replacement. According to People, she was apparently pulling for Anderson Cooper, but that didn't work out because he was busy launching his own talk show. In 2012, the new co-host had finally been chosen, but Ripa decided to keep the decision under wraps. She even shut down her social media leading up to the newest episodes of Live to build the suspense. However, the name was leaked prior to the premiere, and before the show could share the news, the world found out NFL star Michael Strahan ultimately got the job. "Oh, my gosh, am I done with these surprise announcements and these shocking, thrilling reveals?" Ripa joked backstage after the episode. "I can't stand it." Little did she know, this was just the beginning of another aggravating reveal. Michael Strahan's exit blindsided Kelly Ripa in 2016. The search for a new co-host was on again. Michael Strahan announced to their audience that he would be leaving live for GMA. However, Kelly Ripa was filled in on the news only moments beforehand, and according to the New York Times, she felt blindsided. Ripa no-showed the rest of the week. It suddenly seemed as though Strahan's co-host was the one who was done with live. But she was not done. The week after Strahan let the world know he was headed to another morning show, Ripa returned to live to explain her absence. "I needed a couple of days to gather my thoughts," she said. "After 26 years with this company, I earned the right." She went on to share that ABC let her know live is a priority and told her soon-to-be former co-host that she was thrilled for him. Ripa also noted that her dad thinks we're all crazy. Strahan said he was happy Ripa returned to her post. "This show has been transforming for me," he admitted to her. "And I know this show lives on, because you are the queen of morning television." With that, the audience applauded, and it seemed they were ready to entertain once again. A year later, Ripa found her new co-host in Ryan Seacrest. Kelly Ripa is back in the studio but 6 feet apart. When a worldwide pandemic hit in early 2020, many shows were taken off air. Liv, however, decided to improvise. In March, both Kelly Ripa and Ryan Seacrest made the decision to co-host from their own homes. After all, the series had been on the air for nearly 32 years, and the show must go on. While the lighting may not have been so great, the laughs were still there, and the ratings were through the roof via Broadway World. Ripa still couldn't wait to get back to her seat in the studio, though, but she did have one stipulation. "I'm not coming back if I have to wear pants or bottoms of any kind," she joked to people. Hey, those of us who are still working from home can relate. After 180 days, the infamous duo finally returned to their studio in New York City in September. Things were slightly different, though. Not are they without an audience, but Ripa and Seacrest were seated 6 feet apart. To create the illusion that the two live hosts were sitting together like old times, the producers used split-screen magic. While Ripa seemed excited to be back on set, co-hosting from a computer screen is something she seems to secretly miss. "I love low definition," she quipped, adding, "I couldn't believe how gorgeous I was." The very relatable Ripa has officially returned.